It started in 2004 when the Honduran immigrant was accused of killing 2 women. A man who was sentenced to die literally was on death row.
So it's the case of this guy named Clement Airi. And if I tell you this story, you'll say, you got to be making this shit up. It can't be true.
14 years, 4 months, and 19 days. I've been incarcerated. 10 years, 3 months of them in death row.
On June 25, 2004, in Altamonte, Florida, 24-year-old Clement Airi was facing indictments for first-degree murder and burglary, crimes that he did not commit.
From the start, Aguirre Harkin said he found the women dead, that he tried to help, and that's how their blood got on his clothes and his footprints.
It was a horrific crime that resulted in the tragic deaths of his neighbors, Carol Barris, aged 68, and Cheryl Williams, aged 47, both who were found brutally stabbed in their house.
I didn't do it. I don't kill nobody.
Even though Clemente vehemently claimed innocence, the police singled him out as the sole suspect, and he was sentenced to death. Throughout his 14 years on death row, Clemente tirelessly worked to vindicate himself. His efforts bore fruit when it was revealed that Samantha, Cheryl's daughter, had been diagnosed with intermittent explosive disorder before the murders occurred.
Within inches of the mother's body and in a bathroom where the state argued the killer cleaned up is the daughter's blood, a trail of the daughter's blood going to the bathroom, and then the mother's blood on the outside of the daughter's window. She had a history of crazy violence. She had a condition called intermittent explosive disorder, where you would snap and just go off the rails. We look at her medical file, and there's in the doctor's notes, a few years before this happened, where she says to her mother, "I'm gonna fucking kill you if I ever get out of here. I'll fucking kill all of you." Then we find out that she has confessed all over town. We had people coming in all over the place, testifying, affidavits that she said, "I killed my fucking mother and my grandmother, I'll do it to you."
Given such undeniable proof pointing towards Cheryl's daughter, the day finally arrived for Clemente.
I do know that nobody believed me back then. No one. Besides my mother, nobody believed me. And I thank you for it. From the bottom of my heart.
He holds back his tears and immediately heads towards friends and family to celebrate.
But today is a brighter day, a new day, and I got good hopes for the future.
In 1993, in New Jersey, 22-year-old Tito Mourinho was brutally murdered in his video store by stabbing. Eric Kelly and Ralph Lee were wrongfully convicted despite having no involvement in the crime. The entire narrative was constructed by the police through coercion and an unreliable eyewitness account. These statements were then used against Lee, leading to their conviction. It wasn't until the Innocence Project intervened in their case that Eric and Ralph began to feel a glimmer of hope once again.
We've had the DNA results identifying somebody else as the wearer of the hat left at the crime scene since December 2014. And the state has just dug in their heels ever since. They refused to investigate this other person, refused to talk to him, didn't look into his history, and instead are just, blindly clinging to this conviction at all costs.
Lee regained his freedom after an 11-year period. However, it wasn't until 2018, following 24 years behind bars, that Kelly was finally granted his freedom when new DNA evidence was presented in court to the judge.
Therefore, in light of the foregoing reasons, the motion for a new trial as to both defendants, Ralph Lee and Eric Kelly, is hereby granted.
Interestingly enough, we find Judge Joseph Patelli in full Karen mode here.
Listen to me. This is not a moment of joy. This is a moment of justice, okay? It's not something to celebrate or not celebrate.
I don't know about you, but being released after 24 years of wrongful imprisonment definitely calls for a celebration. Kelly and Lee refused to let this situation bring down their spirits. They were both hungry, in good spirits, and grateful for everyone who contributed to their release.
Mainly, I want to eat. I'm a little hungry. Be with my legal team. I want to thank them. I want to thank my family. First and foremost, it's just a great feeling, you know. Just want to get back to like actually living for once, you know what I'm saying? I've been gone 24. It's been a long time. I just don't know. I'm just out of words, baby. I'm just feeling good right now. That's all.
What would you want someone who didn't know anything about your case to know?
I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent man.
Right, in the case of People versus Juan Ignasio Catalan, is that your true name?
Yes, ma'am.
Meet Juan Catalan, the man whose alibi was captured by sitcom in an unexpected manner. On May 13th, 2003, 16-year-old Martha Puebla, a witness in a gang-related case, was fatally shot in front of her Sun Valley, California home. It wasn't until 3 months later that the FBI apprehended 24-year-old Juan during a raid at his family's machine shop. Juan underwent hours of interrogation during which it appeared they had significant evidence implicating him. A witness sketch resembling him and the murder of a witness in a brutal manner, who was slated to testify against his brother. The situation looked grim, but Juan persistently maintained his innocence, insisting to the officers that they were accusing the wrong person for the crime.
You guys are gonna take away my life for this fucking bullshit? What bullshit is this? You killed somebody. Wait a minute. Those are very strong words right there. I did not kill nobody. I would never kill nobody. And I never do anything to hurt anybody. Convince us otherwise.
When things got sticky, Juan recalled that he was at a Dodgers game with his daughter on that specific day. However, in a stadium packed with tens of thousands of people, what is the likelihood of someone capturing footage of him there? And even more so, the chances of retrieving such footage seemed improbable. Here's where the case takes a surprising turn. Juan remembered being on TV, not from the Dodgers camera footage, but because Larry David, the creator of Seinfeld and the star of the HBO series Curb Your Enthusiasm, happened to be filming an episode in the very same aisle as Catalan and his daughter.
That episode was that I picked up a hooker in the carpool lane and took her to Dodger Stadium.
Juan's lawyer reached out to HBO to obtain access to the footage from that specific episode. Despite hours of thorough research yielding no results and running out of tape, the lawyer felt disheartened, thinking he might not acquire the necessary evidence. Suddenly, in a stroke of luck, the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity presented itself, an alibi captured on tape.
And on probably the fifth tape, I think it was, Juan walked right into the camera shot, and the rest is history, as they say.
The combination of this footage and a phone call placed to his girlfriend precisely when he was departing the stadium resulted in his case being dismissed.
Let me give you Daddy a hug, Mama!
Both detectives were convicted for coercion and falsifying their reports. As for Juan, talk about being in the perfect place at the perfect time.
From getting the tickets on the day of to being caught on camera, well, what are the chances that out of 58,000 seats, they're filming on my aisle?
You would probably have more chance of winning the lottery.
Yes, exactly, right? But I look at it like I did win the lottery because I got a new opportunity at life, with my family. And I was so happy and grateful for that.
In 1991, in Queens, New York, Gregory Counts, age 19, and Van Dyke Perry, age 21, were sentenced to life in prison for a crime they did not commit. The victim was held at knife point in front of her Queens home, thrown into a car, and driven to Central Park, where she was raped multiple times. She claimed the men responsible were Counts, Perry, and a third unidentified man. In 2017, following 11 years of imprisonment, the Innocence Project re-examined the Counts and Perry case using retested DNA, which absolved both Counts and Perry from the semen found on the victim. Instead, it linked to a deceased individual. Quite unusual, isn't it? Why would the victim fabricate such a horrendous story and wrongly implicate two innocent men, you might ask? The answer will get your blood boiling.
The complainant now admits that her boyfriend forced her to lie and falsely claim these men sexually assaulted her. Her boyfriend was trying to avoid having to pay a debt to these two men.
All that trouble just to evade debt owed by a boyfriend. It's astounding what people will do for money. As Counts and Perry sit in the courtroom, listening to the liberating melody of freedom, they struggle to contain their emotions. Even though they've regained freedom and are readjusting to society, it's evident that this terrible injustice will linger and haunt both these men for the rest of their lives.
It's never going to be over. The reason why, because it's tormenting my life and it's my past. You understand?
If you like watching true crime videos like this one, make sure you're subscribed to see more.